All right, 643 people. Do you all have your formula sheets in front of you?
Yeah.
Take them out, please.
They're out. It's in front of you. It's been out the entire time.
Okay, so last week we focused on these ones here. Today we are doing the rest of them. So we're going to do 2 lessons. They're very short. The first lesson is going to be on the addition identity, sum and addition identities, these ones, and then we're going to do the double angles next. They're both very short. I'm not going to go into the proofs of them. There is a link in, if you flip the page to 644, if you really want to see the proofs, use that QR code. It'll take you to the proofs.
Okay.
All right? All I expect you to do is know how to use them. Okay? So basically, there are 4 for sine and cosine. It's when you have 2 angles that are being added or subtracted. So for example, if I have sine of, say I have sine of 90. Okay, you don't have to write this down. Don't write this down. Just watch. Okay, what these formulas allow you to do is to rewrite them as the addition of 2 different angles. So instead of writing sine of 90, I can write sine of 60 plus 30. Okay. Why we do that? We're not going to use it for just angles, for proofs and stuff like that. But this is just illustrating the point. So I can rewrite it like this, and then this, because it's A plus B, it's 2 angles being added together, that can break up into sine of 60 cos of 30, that's this bit, plus cos of 60 sine of 30. So you can expand it. The real, what's the word I'm looking for? Use of this is if you're given something like this, and it's obviously not just going to have numbers because you just punch those into a calculator. But if you're doing a proof and you have something like this, you can rewrite it into a smaller version like this. Okay. This is part of the identity. This is the identity. It's on your formula sheet. It's sine of A cos of B plus cos of A sine of B.
Okay.
All right. If the proof is right here, I'm not doing the proof. Okay. If you're subtracting them, it's still sine cos, but it's a minus. The cos ones are slightly different. It's the same idea, 2 angles being added together or subtracted, except the cos ones are always cos cos minus sine sine, or cos cos plus sine sine. Okay? I'm just going to show you what I expect you to be able to use this for on the test. Okay? Because I know it's just like a lot. These 4 formulas come at you, and we're like, okay, let's do this. All right? So skip to the next page and go right to here. Sine 100 cos 10 minus cos 100 sine 10. So when you see an expression with sine and cos separated by a positive or negative sign, and then cos and sine with the angles all the same, all right, start thinking your addition identities. So what does this equal? If it goes sine cos minus cos sine. Yeah. So if you look at your sheet, it's going to be this identity here because it was sine cos minus cos sine. Okay? And the angles are being subtracted. So this one becomes sine of 100 minus 10, which is sine of 90. What's sine of 90? That's your sine graph. 90 degrees is right there, so it's 1. Now, I'm not going to give you that on a test because you could literally just punch that into your calculator, right? You could just punch all of these in your calculator, and you're going to get 1. What I'm going to do is give you something like the next one here. cos of 1/4 pi minus theta, cos of 1/4 pi plus theta minus sine, blah, blah. Okay. It looks really complicated. But really, this angle and this angle are the same, and this angle and this angle are the same. So this is your A, and that's your B, and that's your A, and that's your B. So really we have cos of A, cos of B, minus sine of A, sine of B. What does that equal? Which formula does that match on your sheet? Third one. Cos A plus B. Does everybody see that? Yeah. It's this one right here. So that equals cos of A plus B. So we go cos of A plus B. What's A? What did I label as A? 1/4 pi minus 0. So I go that's your A value. What's your B value? 1/4 pi plus theta. So I'm adding, so there's my A. I'm adding my B. What's 1/4 pi plus 1/4 pi?
Half pi. 2/4 pi.
2/4 pi. So we get half pi. What's negative theta plus theta?
0.
0 thetas. So now I have cos of pi over 2 or cos of 90, which is 0.
What?
I know. All right. Okay. Is any questions about that? All right. So go to the assignments. We're going to do a couple practice questions from the assignments. So let's look at the first one here. 1a, simplify. So this is something you can see on your test. Cos 180 minus b. All right. What you want to do is you want to expand it. Okay. So cos of essentially, there's your a and there's your b. Cos a minus b, what does that equal? Yeah, so it equals cos of a, cos of b plus sine of a, sine of b. Plug in your numbers. Cos of 180, cos of b stays the same. Sine of 180, sine of b, and this is all in degrees. Okay. This is where knowing the graphs, or I guess having your calculator with you helps. There's cosine. There's sine. What is cosine of 180? Negative 1. It's right there. So the first bit becomes negative cos of b, because I can't do anything with cos of b. What else is sine of 180? 0. So that is 0. So what happens to the whole second part of the equation?
0.
Goes away. So what's my answer?
Negative cos of b.
That's it. That's all they want you to do for one is take it, expand, and if you have angles, figure out, once you expanded it, figure out what those values are. Okay? And then they'll go away. All right, I just want to show you the tan one. Is that clear? Is there any questions about that?
Do we have to know like our sine and cosine graphs?
Well, you get a sticky note, so you can draw them on there. In my opinion, you should know them, especially if you're taking calculus. You should know them because you won't get any help in calculus, basically. All right. But you can always just plug them into your calculator. So, all right, let's look at 2D. Obviously, this is what type of identity?
The hard one.
The tan one. Because it's got tans in it. Okay? So, go to your sheet. Which one does it match? Does it match this one or this one?
Second one.
Second one. So we go this whole thing, because you're looking right there, right? And that's going to be tan A minus B. So we write, this is my A, that's my B. This equals tan of A minus B. So really, it's tan 15 pi over 8 minus 3 pi over 8. It's got a common denominator, so we don't have to deal with that. What's 15 pi minus 3 pi? Can I reduce that fraction? To what? So it's tan of 3 pi over 2. What's 3 pi over 2? 390 degrees, it's 270. Yeah. So what's the answer? Undefined. If you punch that in your calculator, you're going to get error. Error 2, sorry. Error 2. And the reason it's an error is because if you remember the tan graph, there's an asymptote at and 270. So that whole thing equals undefined. If it was 90, it was also undefined. Yeah. 260? It's a number. A really big number, but it'll be a number. 269.99999 will still be a really big number. Yeah. Okay. That's it. All I want you to do is 1, 2, and 10, please.
Well, I did like 0.9999 or yeah, like put some more nines in there. Then look at that. It's not there anyway.